very 7 p.m. I'm very, very sorry. We are coming behind schedule. We had to set up few things. But then I'm very, very glad that against all odds, you guys have gathered to listen and to also giving your opinion on DNA. So, are you saying we should take children for DNA tests, or you feel that someone's daughter has been fooling you all that are women really cheating? Are men cheating in marriage? Let's get to talk about this. I am so glad. Happy Sunday to each and every one of us. Welcome to Uproot the
Happy
Issue
Sunday.
live session on what if that child is not yours? A call for DNA
Okay.
tests. Yes. Is it even worth it? So let's get to start the conversation and let's get to start the live session. I'm very, very glad I have
Okay.
here with me. He's a realist. Yes, I call him a realist because he loves being so real and realistic. And he's a medical personnel, medical practitioner, Dr. Ekeminiabasi Okon. Doctor, it's good to have you.
It's a pleasure, my brother. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. How about you? Top of the evening to
Well,
you.
so far so good. Good evening and good evening, everybody.
Uh,
This is it's a
Good,
very
good
sensitive. It's
evening,
a
my
very
You're always looking
sensitive.
good as always. Fact that you're smiling. Be like this, Nigeria. Don't touch you.
My brother, we are surviving now. We are surviving actually. Everybody will collect last last.
Okay, doc.
Yeah,
Wutu in the Wutupulius way.
exactly. Everybody will collect.
Thank you, doctor, for joining us. Thank you. God bless you.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it.
you're welcome.
Okay, so doctor, let's get started because when I
Yes,
actually
please.
shared this particular live, people have been anticipating. They have been hoping to hear a lot. They want to
Yes.
learn and they want to pay out their, pour out their hearts. It's very. I promise that it's going to be a very life changing and a real session. No sugarcoating here. So yes, the DNA, yeah, because it may sound for some persons, eye sounding, but I would love us
Yes.
to, get to understand what DNA is all about to a layman in such a way that anyone maybe coming across this particular word for the
Mm.
first time, may get to
Okay.
know, understand what really DNA is. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, DNA, if I'm to put it in the simplest form, it's what stores our information, what stores our specific traits, specific characteristics. It is embedded. It is embedded in every human being. So every human being has a DNA, and it is specific for that person. So that means that you cannot have the DNA of another person. You understand? It is so specific that it is used as the basis for, diagnosing specific illnesses, and it is also used for paternity tests in case of controversy, as what we're going to talk about now. So, from basic biology, which I believe everybody did biology in secondary school at some point, even though I think from SS2 or SS1 you now
Hmm.
move to whatever you want to study. So I think everybody has like a fair knowledge of how DNA works.
Okay, so
Yeah.
doctor, from what you are trying to say, it's that specific information about us, which
Yes.
it can be shared, and even if we are siblings by blood, we can't have it. That means my sister cannot have that trait, that information.
Y-
Same with
Yes.
mine.
Yes. So the truth the truth
Meaning
is
that
that
okay, that means
we pick,
twins.
specific traits from our parents. You understand? So what I have, my other sibling might not
Hmm.
have, and then what my other sibling has, I might not have. So we all pick. You'd
Okay.
hear someone say, "Oh, he looks like the dad facially, but talks like the mom," or "He looks like the mom facially, but talks like the dad." So these are like
Oh,
specific traits that are encoded inside of inside of us that makes us who we are scientifically. So that is just what it is all about.
so how about Okay, so doctor, how about I saw recently I saw twins, like they look in fact exactly the same,
Mm,
just the same. I can't distinguish who is who. I was so
exactly.
confused. Like I had to ask the other person, please, are you the one I was speaking to on phone? I want to know which of you. So being that they look so the same, I mean, not even
Yes,
alike. Alike is an understatement. The
yes,
same.
yes. So yes, like
So does it mean
you're
that
quite right.
even
Yeah, you're quite right. They might look the same. To you, they look the same physically. But when you now look at those specific information stored in their
hmm,
DNAs, you will see that there's slight difference, actually. There might be some things, missing out which are not expressed physically. But then based on DNA, they're
okay,
actually there. So that is what a lot of people don't know. That even when they are so identical, there are still some specific traits that, both of them don't share. They don't even share the same fingerprint.
oh,
So these are like specific things that people look out for when they talk about DNA. And it's only
okay.
scientists that and
So
it's only
doctor, yes,
scientists
now
that understand this.
wow.
So
Okay, so doctor, now we've established
yes,
a very clear ground that
yes,
yes, we may look alike, we may
exactly.
look for the twins, we may be maybe the
Yeah,
same, but
yes,
that is physically to the physical eyes, but
yeah,
biologically we are not the same, meaning that the DNA is the only proof, to give us
exactly,
the information about
exactly,
those specific traits that
exactly.
I have, which
Mm,
maybe my sister or my brother doesn't have. Okay.
exactly,
And I really love word nature because even from one's fingerprint, in as much as
exactly,
you guys are siblings, you share the same blood. When it gets to fingerprints, it's not the same. Oh. How
it
much
will
more
be the same.
DNA?
Exactly.
So I think DNA, the full meaning should be a
Deoxyribonucleic
oxyribonucleic
acid.
acid, right?
Exactly,
Yes, yes, yes,
exactly,
yes. Okay. Okay.
exactly.
So doctor, many persons may feel DNA test, shouting, go for DNA test.
Mm,
Is it really? Because when you talk about DNA test now, the very
mm,
first thing, the reaction that, people give is,
yeah,
are you questioning trust? Are you questioning
mm,
trust? You don't trust your
exactly,
partner? Is it a question
exactly.
of trust? So I want to really, I want our viewers to really, get to understand and get to, have this awareness. Why
Exactly.
do people opt for DNA? Is it just for a proof that to clear the fact that this child belongs to me, or is there more that we don't really pay attention to in the aspect of wanting to test a child through DNA?
Okay. So the thing about DNA testing, DNA testing has always been there. Do you understand? It's not a very new thing. It has always been there, but I think of recent,
Mm,
with trending issues of people taking care of children that are not biologically theirs, and then the rarest of them all, when people claim that their babies were exchanged in the hospital, which have had people raise such concerns. So it has pushed people to want to know the actual truth. So it is rather a 50-50 thing when we talk about trust. Requesting for DNA tests could as well be perceived as lack of trust. It could also be perceived
mm,
as someone wanting to be sure. Because for any relationship or whatever ship it is, marriage or situationship or whatever, trust is the foundation of it all. So, but over time, we have seen that as human beings, people grow, people change over time, and the love someone had for you prior to now might not be the same in the next few years or in the next couple of years. And then apart from that too, people also realize that okay, I miss the trust. I mean, I trust my wife and all of that. She's still getting to do a whole lot behind my back. And sometimes for men that really stay at
mm,
home, really stay at home. I mean, at the end of the day, you leave your wife to, basically the whole world. You understand? So this leads to,
Mm.
infidelity in one way or the other. And so I don't think it is lack of trust or absence of trust that makes men to push for DNA. Sometimes it's just curiosity. You could trust someone wholeheartedly. It doesn't mean the person will be faithful to you. So that is what has been happening. I think,
Mm.
I don't feel like cheating too. It's a gender specific thing. I feel like men cheat, women cheat. But the only thing, in my own opinion, I feel like women cheat better than men because because men are lousy cheats. It's not like the society condones it. No, the society doesn't condone it. Everybody frowns at it, but nobody's making a move to stop it. You understand? So
Mm.
women cheat better because the society ensures strict discipline. You understand? To women who cheat, traditionally, culturally, religiously, there's so much discipline. There's so much, raised eyebrows if a woman is cheating now. If you enter the city, you're going to see some married men hanging around, younger unmarried ladies openly in most cases. And then
Mm.
you hear things like, I mean, I'm a man, I can do whatever I feel like doing. But it's very hard to see
I feel
women. I'm
like
not
doing.
saying, yeah, I'm not saying women don't do it, but it's very difficult to find in fact, chances of finding a woman sitting openly and with an unmarried man they're in a relationship with is very slim. So I think that over time women have been able to perfect the art of cheating. Because if you tell an average man now, it's like
More
your
than
wife
men.
is, yeah, of course, much more than men. Women are smarter in these things, but that story for another day. So when you get to tell a man that your wife might be cheating on you, so she cannot even try me. Do you understand? There is no means of verification. So you see, even 30-year-old marriages, 40-year-old marriages, these men wake up in the morning to realize that their child was not biologically theirs. It's a painful thing.
Mm.
It's a very painful thing. And men can't really handle emotional pain. That's the truth. We are only strong outwardly, but inside we cannot handle emotional pain. That's the honest truth. So that's what's been happening lately. So
Wow, doctor.
it's not necessarily absence of trust. Sometimes it is curiosity.
Mm.
Yeah, it is curiosity. You're just like, it's like this guy is looking. Okay, I don't know if I'm permitted to say this, but I do know someone
No
quite
problem,
close to
please.
me. Yeah, someone quite close to me. But I talked to him anyways concerning this podcast because he was so interested. I mean, he's over 30, and then he always felt like he looked more like his uncle. You understand? So his dad has been concerned, and then secretly the dad took samples for DNA test, only to find out that he doesn't belong to the dad amongst the four siblings. So this alone has turned the family upside down. I don't know how
Mm.
I don't know how they intend to handle that, but it is what it is.
Oh, doctor. You've actually it's so sad. It's so sad because
Yeah,
the truth is to raise any child now. We're talking about one thing to say it's I think one sometime a doctor once posted it is not there's something that the doctor was trying to talk about, but
yeah.
nobody to come make someone a father.
Mm. Of course,
Not be by
anybody,
government,
anybody,
it
anybody
is
can come.
by being responsible.
Exactly, anybody can come,
Anybody
but very few people can take responsibility.
takes responsibility. So now you are taking the full responsibility, loving, and the bond between you and this child growing up, only to realize that all this while, I mean, even if you, I mean, it's good that biblically we are trained to be open to others, gets to embrace other kids like ours. But this is someone that you've been you know, you've been told and you've been made to believe that this person is yours for this period of time, only to realize that he or she is not yours. So, doctor, now I would, oh, I think it's a network issue, but quickly, I think we'll have him back. So, guys, this is so far the section is actually going well, and so sorry. We have a little issue of power supply, but then we really need to have this live session because we can't avoid missing out. Okay, I think he's trying to join back. He's trying to join back. He's trying to join back. So far we've actually been talking about DNA. We've got to realize that DNA is that specific information about you that you are not sharing, not even with your siblings. It is just you. Those information that we can use to, identify your specific traits, the traits, those genes that you actually obtain either from your dad or from your mom. Remember, in as much as blood is concerned here, it has nothing to do with them, the DNA. The DNA carries specific information about a particular individual that we can't find in another person. And at the same time, doctor also tried as much as possible to enlighten us about the whole issue of if because some persons feel that DNA now a call for DNA test is a call for infidelity, the question of fidelity. Yes, people are trying to ask question of trust. Don't you trust me as your partner? You don't trust me as your wife. You don't trust me as your husband. All those things, but it is more. There's more to trying to. It might be curiosity, like you said. Most people are really curious to. Let me just be sure let it be that I'm actually raising my own child and not someone's child. So also relates that sometimes there's all gets to experience exchange of babies in the hospital. So might be that your child was exchanged and it's something that is very slim, but it's oftentimes it's something that is very slim. It may not really happen, it's not common, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. It's still about the place of trust or questioning trust. Yes, I don't actually know how what happened, but might be that he has issue with network and it will actually let me reach out to him. Nigeria, Nigeria.
Nigeria happened.
But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, we are
Thank God
back.
we are
Mm.
back because I
Yeah, we are
believe
back.
we are good now.
Exactly.
Okay, so yes, I was trying to actually give in a brief of what we've actually been doing, of what we've been talking about, waiting these two guys they yam for mouth since. So it's
Mm.
about DNA. It's about DNA. Specific
Oh.
information about you
Mm-hmm.
that cannot be shared. And reasons for DNA, yes, most persons feel that why is he actually asking? Why the quest to go for
Yeah.
DNA test now? Meaning I'm not faithful. Does it mean I'm not faithful? Am I faithful? Is me faithful? Are you faithful? Okay. And others will feel, okay, let's just get to be sure that this child is mine.
At
Let me
least.
just be sure.
At
Curiosity,
least.
like
Out
you
of
said, the
curiosity.
chances of it happening is really slim. But it happens that babies could be exchanged in the hospital.
Mm.
Yes.
Okay,
So,
so
doctor, yes, you talked about a lot, and I will move to the next question, doctor. You see,
yeah,
most persons feel that I give in my best to ensure that marriage work. I give in my
yeah.
this to ensure that I satisfy a man. I give in my this to ensure that I satisfy my wife. I give in my
Mm.
this to ensure that I'm there for my wife. But then I would love to ask now, do you think, because you've had experiences with these persons, being a medical doctor, you see
Okay.
couple coming to the hospital, you
Yeah.
have interaction with them. So now, is love enough? Is love really enough?
See, um, okay. See, the truth about love being enough, this is very delicate because the lover boys and lover girls will come after me at the end of this session. Love is clearly not enough. There are other important components of a relationship and marriage that matters even much more than love. Yes, you need love as foundation, but most importantly, you need trust. You need also discipline, self-discipline. If you have only love, your relationship might not go far. After those feelings die off, because eventually they will not remain the same. So at the end of the day, when they now die off, what are you going to do? You fall back to some other components. Trust, like I said, and discipline. Okay. We've had situations where maybe a husband serves in the military, for example. He serves in the military and he gets, deployed or redeployed, whatever it is called, to some faraway place to counterinsurgency, you know, and external operations and all of that. What now happens to the wife? Is it love that is going to keep the two of them together, or it is actually discipline?
For better, for worse. For, for
Exactly.
better, for worse.
See, when some
In
people
your presence
hurriedly,
and in your absence.
exactly, when some people hurriedly talk about that for better or for worse, they actually mean for better, for better. Because worse, what comes with worse? They will see the truth is this. It takes a lot of discipline for you to say no to certain people. There will always be somebody
Hmm.
finer than your partner. There will always be somebody richer than your partner. You understand? So
Hmm.
what now matters most? Is it love or discipline? I think love is not enough. Love cannot be enough. Love will never be enough. What about people that are in distant relationship and marriages? Of recent, you've seen how many people have left the country in search for, greener pastures, if you would call it that way, in search for greener
Hmm.
pastures. At the end of the day, what happens? What happens to the wife they left in Nigeria? Mhm.
Because doctor,
What
it's a
happens?
very it's a
This
very vital
is
issue. Because
this is
I do
the
also
truth.
wonder how these people,
Yeah,
particularly those ones that really stay at home or spend time with the wife. For example,
see,
like just like you said, the forces guys,
yes, the
and
military guys,
particularly anyone in the army or
Air Force.
the engineers,
Mm,
especially people working on the shore. Okay,
what about medical
petroleum
doctors?
engineers.
What about medical
Oh,
doctors? See, nobody is
I
exempted
was
from this thing. Nobody is exempted from this thing. As far as you're a man, chances are that these things will definitely happen. This is the truth. So at the end of the day, you realize that it's not only love that you need. You need a whole lot of discipline. A whole lot of discipline. By the time these men start flashing monies to your wife or to your girlfriend and all of that, or your partner or fiance, whatever you want to call it, what will now happen? That's the truth. That is where discipline comes in. That is where discipline comes in. Do you understand? So it's not about love. Somebody can be in love with you and still cheat on you. That's the truth. They can be in love, they can be madly in love with you and still cheat on you if certain conditions that make them comfortable are breached. They will still cheat on you. Honestly, there was a write up I saw somewhere that everyone has something to hide. Just pray that when you find out, it will not break you into pieces. We have come to the era of DNA paternity tests, and we must do it. We have to do it. If you have any uncertainty whatsoever, go and do that test. Let everything scatter because it will still scatter. But the earlier it scatters, the better.
the better.
Let everything scatter. It will still scatter anyways. But the earlier the better. That's the truth. There's nothing anybody's going to do about it. We have come to that era of enlightenment. All those things that men were not sure, they're like, this boy is beginning to look like my friend. The time to clarify it is now. Tomorrow is Monday. Go and do that test.
Doctor not even grill. Tomorrow is
tomorrow is
Monday.
tomorrow is Monday. Go and do the test.
so you, so you better clarify the doubt by taking your
Exactly.
child straight to the
Exactly.
hospital.
Yes. Yes. You don't even see the truth is that the truth is that people don't understand. You don't even need to start carrying the child to the hospital. You just need to take a sample.
Mm.
Yeah, you could get the proof from the laboratory or a confirmed center for DNA testing. Get the proof and take an oral swab, and that's it. Or whatever they will need from the lab. But majorly, it's always an oral swab. Just take the swab quietly. That's how some people have been able to find out. That's how some men have been able to find out. Because if you start, maybe you've been having misunderstandings with your wife, and suddenly you now start carrying your children out. Ah, this thing is going to raise dust. Your wife will be like, hey, last
Of
night she's
course.
about to do that test. And she'll do anything. If she's been cheating, she'll do anything to stop you from doing that. So some
Mm.
men just quietly take the samples and run the tests themselves. You understand? Instead of carrying the child, or in most cases, it's even adults. I've read also reports where adults, the grown-up men, they now discover that their father was not biologically their father, and a whole lot has happened. And trust me, a woman always knows who the father of her child is. That's the truth.
Mm.
That's the truth.
So, doctor, before we come into because I'm always curious to know, maybe
Mm.
at what point is it proper to take a child for DNA test before we just come to that age,
Yeah.
bracket or age,
Yes.
age range that you could actually take a child for DNA
Mm.
test of being an adult,
Yeah.
because yes, you establish the fact that women really, are smart, smart, very, very,
No,
way smart in cheating.
yeah. Yeah.
Very, very, very smart, very, very smart. They do it very
Okay.
better than men. Men get to loud it. It will be very obvious. Do they even cheat? Do women even cheat at all? It's a question we get to ask ourselves.
Every everybody everybody
Because just like you said,
everybody is cheating
your
each
wife,
other. It doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman. Everybody is cheating, brother,
but, but but
irrespective of
but
the gender.
but before we just come into that, I wanted to also
Yeah.
find out from you what
Hmm.
really actually, because from your own experience, what could really move a partner
Hmm.
to cheat. Because
This
yes,
is
distance could matter, but the work could
yes.
really push apart. Because yes, the love is there, fine.
Hmm.
This is
Hmm.
there, fine. But
Hmm.
then we are not trying to justify cheating, in as much
Yes.
as we are saying no to it. But then what actually push a partner to cheat? Because yes,
Well,
somehow they do say, I've heard certain things. My man cannot satisfy me, and my husband cannot do it. My husband cannot. So I want to be sure. I want to know. I don't know if I'm speaking the mind of women. I want to be sure.
for the first time since this station started, you've shaken the mind of women. So the truth is, the truth is that people cheat for different reasons. And I'm going to be as sincere as possible. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm a cheat. Of course, I'm not a cheat. NEPA has given you light, thank God. So,
Sure.
so, so I can't say from a personal perspective, but from observation, I think people cheat for different reasons. When certain conditions are not met, and in most times, in most cases, dialogue has been explored, but this is not working. People have to look for those things outside.
Hmm.
Do you understand? Now,
Like
if you,
conditions, like please.
now when we talk about conditions, a lot women want to be comfortable. Do you understand? Women want to be comfortable.
Yes.
Comfortable in what sense? They want to be sure that they are yours. They want to be sure that you are theirs. They want to be sure that when they leave you, you remain theirs. When you leave them, you remain theirs. This is a very technical statement. Now, you don't necessarily have to be wealthy to have the woman of your dreams. I know so many women that have supported men to achieve their dreams.
Okay.
So many. In fact, women from our parents' era, actually, they did a whole lot. Even women from this our era too. Just have prospect and be who they want. There are lots of women that they're not really after your money. Yes, money is very important. Money is an important factor in any relationship. But how much money do you think you will have? Because ever since I was born, it's still Dangote that has been rich. Oh.